You might not know who this artist is. I'm a big fan of Ted Rundgren. So I've kind of been following him and creeping on him since I was a teenager. But I love this song because it's about parallel lines and timing and people aligning with their hopes in regards to a love relationship. Anyway, so I'm not going to sing this morning because I feel kind of crusty. So, so this is what I wanted to talk about because the theme this week that I observed with the people I spoke to was frustration with timing. And, you know, I think for a lot of people, you know, since we've come into, you know, the digital and electronical age, and we've lost our sense of balance and purpose, and mostly patience. We don't know how to be patient anymore. And who could blame us? You know, I mean, for the last couple decades now, if not longer, everything is at our fingertips. Everything is, you know, we've been pushed with this faster, right? Faster banking, faster internet, your lunch will be ready in 5 minutes or less, or it's free. You know, this is how we've been geared. You know, like if you're trying to think of an actor's name, right, from a movie, and I was like, what is his name? Oh, right here, you can look it up, right? So, and a lot of this is good, it's productive, but a lot of it's kind of messing with our ability to grow in terms that are productive in relationships. And so, I mean, after maybe, I don't know how many people, this was the theme this week, you know. Moving forward, let's get this done quickly, and where somebody's heart may be set in one specific direction, somebody else may be, you know, the object of your affection may not be there yet. Like I always said. You can't have book club with somebody that's only on the 3rd chapter, right? It's not possible. So, and making sure that you have your work done instead of maybe replacing one set of problems for another set of problems, okay? And the part that makes me so sad when I see someone in this dilemma is they're assuming that they don't, you know, consciously or subconsciously, they're assuming that they're not lovable, or they have no value because the person that they want to align with isn't ready, isn't where they need to be, whether it's, you know, healing up from some kind of a past thing, or maybe a lot of times maybe they just are, you know, they feel that financially they're not in a place to be in a relationship, or whatever the case may be. So there's numerous reasons. Maybe they're still grieving something, maybe their, you know, emotional reservoir is depleted, right? And we have this idea in our head that well we can get in there and we can fix it, you know, because we're fond of this person, and we can't. But like I said, it makes me sad for my clients when they make an assumption that because this person isn't moving in the same time zone, right, as they are, that they don't love them then, or they don't hold them in high regard. And let's try to look at it like from this. Let's put it and make a comparison on like a physical level, right? Right. Let's say you've had a real nasty flu bug, diarrhea, stomach stuff, or head cold, and sinus, ear infection, whatever. You're really under the weather, right? And you know, your friend has these great concert tickets, and we're coming up on Saturday, and you still haven't recovered. You're not physically recovered. So as much as you want to go, you know that you can't, even though that's an amazing offer, like front row seats or something, right? So if we look at love in the same vein, or you know, in the same alignment that we would if, say, we hit the flu or something, obviously you wouldn't want your friend to come with you to the concert still feeling depleted or nauseous or whatever. You would want them to stay home and to recover. So that's what happens with affairs of the heart many times. Maybe they're still angry about getting jerked around, or maybe they've come to almost a flatline piece of the equation where they're just like, oh, I don't have it. Maybe, too, because this has to be part of the equation, maybe they have embraced their independence and gotten comfortable in the lifestyle they're in, you know, for a period of time, and they're in their comfort zone with that. So they're not quite sure how to integrate another into their scene, right? So, and so with that said, these are things, and because it was so loud and so prominent this week, I felt like somebody out there needs to hear me talk about this, you know. And then the tantrum stage will kick in sometimes. You know, this, well, you know, we're not moving in the same time frame or fashion, or and maybe I'll just forget it. I'll go in a new direction. Come on. In a new direction where? Like where, when your heart, and if you're so convicted to the love that you feel for somebody, right? And you're thoroughly convinced that this is real love and not infatuation, because a lot of times people get that mixed up. Perhaps you maybe should slow down a little bit yourself. If you are so certain that this is the right connection for you, then what are you going to do? You're going to go look somewhere else? If you still love this person, you know, or punish them because they're not, or line up with somebody and that you don't care as much about, or you don't have the same kind of chemistry, because why? Because you're maybe uncomfortable being alone. Well, see, there's that part that you haven't completed. You know, going from the wound part to maybe the anger part, or however everybody processes it differently, to the independence part, right? And that everybody needs to get to that place first before they can even consider integrating somebody new into their scene. So, there was one couple in particular that I'm being very careful, because I don't want to tip anybody's hand or anybody's world or whatever. So let's say you're still married to somebody that you're, you know, maybe they're an alcoholic or whatever the case may be, and you're disgusted by them. You're not in love with them anymore. Okay, well, maybe instead of looking for a soft place to land, with that, maybe you should just extract yourself from the environment that is creating you so much frustration and pain and heartache, and just sit in your own silence and sit in your own realm for a minute or two. Or maybe you're looking at maybe the object of your affection is still in a relationship as well. Okay. So, okay, you want them to do all this work and to get caught up, but you're not able to do that yet. For whatever, somebody's trying to get up the hill. It's snowing. It's snowing really hard here. I don't know if it's ever going to stop snowing. So take these things into consideration as you move forward into a relationship at whatever level. We have this connection. We sense this chemistry with someone. And if we're on chapter 7 in the book and they're still on chapter 3, you have two choices. You can either move on, right? Or you can sit it out and see how it evolves. Those are your choices. A lot of times though, that stuff invokes, some kind of vicious stuff. We want, and then we're not even acting like our normal selves. We start sending little pokey texts or little smart ass things, just trying to get any kind of reaction, even though it's not the reaction that you want. But set your priorities, right? Are you invested in building a relationship with somebody, or are you invested in building a relationship with the object of your affection? It's pretty simple. But I know from a personal level, affairs of the heart can be very confusing sometimes. And we outgrow people too. To me, excuse me, I think love is like school, really. I think people bring into our lives valuable lessons and experiences and opportunities for growth. And even bad relationships can teach us really good lessons. Maybe they're meant to teach us how to set a boundary or what we won't accept from someone. And, what do they call that? Your deal breakers, right? So, and I see so many people on all different types of levels of, like the old Bobby Caldwell song, What You Won't Do for Love. No, you have to love yourself first. You can't let someone plow over you or steal from you or treat your family with disrespect or worse yet, excuse me, close you off from friends and family, when boundaries need to be set. So, yeah, that's kind of what I saw. And my heart goes out to these people because they're all at different levels. And there is this element of, hopefulness or opportunity to build something with somebody. But if they're not ready, those are your choices. You either sit it out and you work on your own self and busy yourself with your own growth and development and become whole, or you move in the next direction that you think might provide you with I don't know what you're looking for, security or a spiritual connection or whatever the case may be. So, anyway, So that was like what I was observing this week, and I'm thinking probably somebody out there needed to hear or needed me to touch on or talk about those challenges that we meet up with, you know, when we're trying to understand the language of love and how everybody does or demonstrates it, right? So, okay, now, Mercury went retrograde yesterday, and that's the planet of, I talked about this a little bit last week. Excuse me. What's got me crusty this morning? So Mercury's the planet of communication and short distance travel, or it can be long distance travel. And it goes retrograde 3 to 4 times a year, depending on how it falls, right? And so it can create little weird speed bumps with our progress. So if you're traveling, make sure that you have your contact lenses or solution or the things that are really important to you, you know, in your carry-on bag, because your luggage could get misplaced. We want to be careful with speeding tickets, intersections. Don't be pulling the California roll through the stop signs. Somebody's going to bust you, you know. Fender benders, and misunderstood communication. Like I was saying last week, you send somebody a text, right? And you're like, hey, could you pick up a loaf of Italian bread on your way over, you know? And you may get a text back. It's like, what are you saying? I always come empty-handed. I mean, things can get really off track under a planetary trend like this. So maybe we want to have conversations as opposed to text messages or emails. Maybe we should kind of follow up so people can understand or hear your voice inflection, embrace your message a little clearer, right? And so, but Mercury retrograde has a tendency to bring past loves back into our orbit. Yeah. Sometimes that can sound kind of scary, you know, but that's a trend that Mercury retrograde ignites, I guess would be the right word. So, but I mean, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Sometimes we'll have you know, you run into a love from your past in the grocery store, at the gas station, or whatever, under a planetary trend like this. And maybe all you needed was that validation. You know, when you see them, there's a lot of times that light switch will go on that's like, oh, they don't have that kind of power over me anymore. Or you've learned something about yourself in that. Or it's possible they could try to sell you something, you know, a new and improved version of themselves. People don't change, you guys. But it could be that maybe Mercury retrograde would pull them into your orbit because they are on chapter 7 now, right? So you both finished the 7 chapters, right? And maybe it's a little more stable, or maybe it's worth exploring. Those are the things that can activate under a Mercury retrograde. So, you know, keep your finger on your own pulse here. with how the next 3 weeks will work out for you. There's always a learning experience. I don't want anybody getting hurt. I don't want anybody getting an offender bender. So, you know, pay a little extra attention. But this can be a good time to explore who we are, who we become, maybe from the previous encounter or time frame. It can be kind of fun. It can be kind of exciting. So, So, I don't know how the weather is where you are, but I'm in the Midwest, and we have been pummeled with snow for the past 2 or 3 days. I think we got maybe 7 inches. Anybody knows the exact in the Rockford area, the Chicago area, put it in the comments so I know for myself, because I think somebody said we got 7 inches, and then we get it all cleared away, and now it's snowing again, you know. But as long as you have your staples, we can make this a real cozy kind of a day as well. You know, just kind of snuggle in. And even though with the virus, we're probably about as sick as snuggling in as we're ever going to be in a year. But we're on to new ventures and new horizons now. So, now, I don't know if any of you, I'm still trying to figure out the ins and outs of this, but this game, did anybody check out this GameStop thing that, you know, these group of little guy investors made a bunch of money with GameStop this week with the stock market? Which pretty much, you know, I mean, there's a couple people that I listen to that, you know, talk to me, or I feel like they're talking to me. They do a podcast that they talk about, you know, things in layman's terms, so I can wrap my brain around stuff like the stock exchange. You know, I've never thought that the stock exchange ever was the litmus test on how our nation is doing. Or how the people, you know, the constituents are doing in this world. But the reason I brought that up is I started cracking up because I talked about Saturn moving into Aquarius in December, and I talked about how we are in the age of Aquarius. So there's a lot of exposure. Now, Saturn is going to be in Aquarius until March 7th of 2023. So we're not going to get the actual full 3 years of it, but it's going to be effective. So when I started giggling when I heard this story, because I'm like, well, there you go. It just shows. And then these hedge fund crybabies, billionaires, are throwing themselves on the floor and rolling around and having tantrums because they lost a lot of money. I don't know. It's stuff like this that, you know, leads me to believe that the, as I said, how I described Saturn in Aquarius was leveling the playing field, right? And so it was a little bit of a giggly tidbit. But yeah, and so we'll have this planetary support going on. Jupiter is in alignment with this for the next year. So it's going to be actually kind of a lucky thing, right? Jupiter is like the lucky lotto ticket. So anywhere Jupiter goes or touches, it's always good. It's never bad. But yeah, I got a kick out of that. From as much as I could grasp the whole ins and outs of that, it just was once again another demonstration of how the playing field will be leveled and things will be fair, you know. But yeah, so that's what I know. I hope this was helpful So if you're in a quandary with a love relationship or a potential love relationship, maintain your honor in this, all right? Don't lose yourself in this. Don't do that. If it's meant to be, it will. It'll happen. Sometimes people just come into our life as place card holders. You know, they give us some valuable information or lessons, and then we can take those and sort them out and store them up and then hold those, you know, the things that matter, and we can demonstrate them with the next person, right? That the universe sees fit for us to take a journey with, all right? So, but please, don't ever think that because someone isn't caught up to you, that they don't care about you. We get angry because the timing isn't aligning because we're ready, right? And then we get hurt because of it. And then many times then we demonize that person, right? They don't have to be demonized. They don't need, just because they're not ready. They don't need to become the enemy. We don't need to get angry, because all that's doing is hurting us. That's stirring us up, right? I will say, when it's appropriate, I will tell a client, they loved you as much as they knew how, right? If they don't have all the tools in the toolbox, you're not going to get the full picture. You're not going to get the product that you're hoping for. So don't take that on like you're not lovable or you don't have value just because someone hasn't caught up to the place that you're in with your mind, body, and spirit. That has nothing to do with your value. So always check yourself if you're starting to go in that direction, even if this has to do with like a family member you're on the outs with or whatever. Just tell yourself, well, they love me as much as they know how, as the tools that they have. For example, let's say, so you're going to get your hair cut, okay? I like these like physical comparisons because then it helps the brain click in with it. So let's say you've got an appointment to get your hair cut and colored, and you go in there and you've got this huge like architect tube, right? You know, one of those, and you go in and your hairdresser's putting a chair cloth on you, right? And she's like, so what are we gonna do today? Or he, you know, whoever cut your hair. So what are we going to do today? Are we going to do some highlights, some lowlights? Are we going to, you know, do something completely different? And you go, you hold on a minute, right? Here you are with the chair cloth. Hold on a minute. And you get down on the ground and you open up this tube with all these architectural drawings, right? And you roll them out on the floor and you look up to your hairdresser and you're like, I want you to build me a cabin. Seriously. And fortunately, your hairdresser doesn't call the, you know, white coat squad, right? And basically her response or his response to that is going to be, I've got a blow dryer, I've got shears, I've got color, I've got bleach, I've got a flat iron, I've got a curling iron, I've got a razor, but I don't have roofing tiles and 2x4s and drywall and an inloader to dig a basement, or do you see what I mean? We can't, sometimes we're just not able to get those results from someone who doesn't have the proper tools. It's just not, it's not possible. See what I mean? So, all right. Well, I don't know if that helped or not. It's just something that it was an overkill, you know, from friends and from, you know, people that I interacted with this week, but that seemed to be the running theme. So I thought, there's where I have to put my focus this morning, you know. Don't belittle or you know, belittle yourself because someone isn't ready for you. Don't perceive that as you're not lovable, because you are lovable. We're all lovable. And there's somebody for everybody. And take an inventory. What is it that you're looking for? What is it that you really need? Two, you know, take an inventory on are you fleeing something with the hopes of going in another direction? Are you standing solid and whole with, you know, whether you're fleeing fear or you're fleeing a relationship that something's better than nothing, you're with a drunk or a druggie or whatever, but it's something's better than nothing. You know, those are exercises you can participate in, you know, doing a kind of a checkup from the neck up. Why are you pursuing that connection? Are you fleeing something, or are you hopeful to move into something? You know, it's a big difference. So, okay. Well, how's everybody? Everybody hanging in there? A lot of you staying busy. The snow is keeping us busy around here, that's for sure. Remember, it's Mercury retrograde, so we could get kind of some second chances here that we may or may not want. But it's definitely going to be interesting, you know, for the next 3 weeks. This is going to go on until February 20th. So, oh, and another thing too, are you expecting your potential significant other, now let me get this right, because it kind of flew out of my head, to comply to your insecurities? That's what I wanted to say. So, like, and if anybody's coming at you with this narrative, well, be careful, all right? So if it's, well, if you're hearing dialogue that resembles this mindset, such as, well, you know, my ex cheated on me, so I have to be able to get a hold of you all the time, right? Well, you know, my ex did this to me, so you're going to have to bend around and comply with my insecurities and my challenges to make me feel better, feel secure. That's not their job, that's your job. And if someone comes at you with that narrative, really be careful. They need to go take care of that first. They need to clean that up, deal with that wound, whether it's through therapy or whatever, and come at you whole, not in all crooked, broken pieces that they're expecting you to you know, be the mastermind in the puzzle and put it all together nice and neat. It doesn't work that way. That just creates more wounds. So, hang on a second. Scout, Sleepy, come here. Come on over here. Come on up here. She was sleeping. we didn't even go for a walk yet this morning. We were kind of busy getting rid of snow and whatnot. You're all way over there. They want to say hi. Come here. Come on. Look, you can see it in her face. Oh my goodness. Come on. Close, close, close. Aw, look how tired she is. They can't see you like that. Come on in here. Come on. Come on. That's my girl. Aw, go say hi. Can you say hi? Look, there you are. Can you say hi to everybody? They love to see you. You got a little wet nose. Aw, thanks. Aw, thank you. You're just so sleepy. She was running around in the snow having some fun this morning. Yeah. Oh, look at that big yawn. Yeah. You can say hi to everybody. Do you want to go back to sleep, huh? She says, oh, yeah, I do. Uh-oh. Did you hear something? What'd you hear? She's out of it. Anyways, you guys, just some food for thought. And if this doesn't apply to you and you know somebody it might apply to, maybe share this with them. All right? Okay. So, staying well during these strange and unusual times. Make sure you're eating right. Immunity boosting fuel. Let's keep that in our system and have it running great, have it running good. Get outside, get some fresh air, get with nature. It's easy. It's really pretty today. Take your D3. That's a great that creates lung defense for you. And self-love. Self-love is key. I had a deep dish pizza last night. That's what I called self-love. I was craving it. It was so good. I don't know how much immune boosting fuel was in it, but it sure hit the spot. So, all right. Okay. We're good to go, I think, all right? Until next week at 11:11. If you have any topics you want me to cover, please put them in the comments. I'd love to. I know little Courtney had asked a couple times for the feng shui and the magical household, and finally I got to her with that last week. I think I got a lot of comments and a lot of compliments on that. So we don't want anybody that we're forcing to bend or to bend their will when they're just not prepared, because that's not going to work, and you'll be shortchanged if you do. So, all right, okay, all right, mind, body, spirit. I love you guys. Stay well up here. That's the challenge right now, right? Staying emotionally and mentally well. And the best way to do that is to make sure you're getting outside, make sure you walk every day, make sure you're taking care of yourself in that balance. All right? Okay. See you next week. Okay, love to you guys. Take care.